Okay, hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Pen here. Welcome to our cozy little corner of the internet. Sorry, that intro was a bit rushed, but oh my gosh, a delivery came for me today, and it is fucking bookmarks galore. Anime bookmarks. Asagi Yoichi, Hinata Shoyo, Chuya Nakahara, Sokoku and Shinsokoku, and finally Dazai. And then I got a set of 40 bookmarks of Bungo Stray Dogs and a set of 40 bookmarks of a Blue Lock. So I also got a Blue Lock pencil case. So yeah, these all came from Temu, by the way. Really good fucking quality. Oh, and I'm also wearing a Dazai hoodie. It is amazing. It's just a lined drawing of fucking Dazai and like 88 outfit, but he has the wrapping around his eyes like he did in his Port Mafia days. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Hello, welcome to the video. Hope you guys enjoy. Today is chapter 5 of It's Not Love If You Run When It's Hard. Now, this chapter will have some sexual themes in it. It's very mild and gets cut off very early. It doesn't go through anywhere. But there is Izuku's trauma of sexual assault in this. So just be careful of that before you head in. And make sure to take care of yourself. I'll see you guys later. Let's get right into the fic. Chapter 5. Izuku rolled his sore shoulders as he kicked the door shut. Hitoshi's house was quiet, eerily so. That was weird. Hitoshi had 2 younger siblings, all 3 of them foster kids, and their foster parents. Usually on weekdays, Hitoshi's parents worked until about 7, and Toshi took care of the 2 younger siblings until they got home so he could do his own prep work done for the coming high school semester. Since it was summer, the younger siblings' elementary schools were out, so Toshi took care of them. Toshi? Izuku called out into the silent house. Hey! Hitoshi popped his head out of the kitchen with a bright grin. The tension building at the base of his neck snapped, relief washing over the high alert that had started in the back of his mind. Everything alright, Zu? Yeah, sorry, the house was quiet. I just got done training. I think I'm still tense. Schroeder said I had a breakthrough today. He used air quotes as he tossed his gym bag into the closet and swapped into house slippers. Yeesh. I hope I didn't miss anything too important. We're sparring with May tomorrow, right? Yup. Hopefully she won't use any of her exploding babies on me. I'll make sure to have the medkit ready. Hitoshi chuckled. Anyway, come into the kitchen. I made dinner. You can cook? Izuku had never once seen his insomniac best friend pick up a frying pan, let alone a cookbook. But the moment he walked into the kitchen, the rich smell of fried chicken hit him full force in the face. The perfect blend of spices, that richly sweet fried scent. You know, if I wasn't falling for you before, I think you might have just pulled me over the edge. Yeah? Hitoshi grabbed the front of his sweaty t-shirt and pulled Izuku into the kitchen. Maybe you should reward me for all my hard work by diving off that cliff. We'll see. I gotta taste that chicken first. Hey, wait, where are your parents? And your sisters? My folks took them to a movie and a dinner. They know we've both been working hard, so I asked for a night off. What I heard is that you finally found the bravery to make a real date night for us. Same thing. Hitoshi was blushing. Izuku leaned over and kissed his temple. I love it. Thank you. It smells amazing. Good. I made fried chicken, obviously, fried rice, and roasted veggies with a sweet glaze. Toshi, babe, I don't deserve this kind of pampering. Hitoshi shoved him down towards the table, forcing Izuku to sit down. Izuku held up his hands, surrendering into the chair and letting the older teen plate their dinner as they spoke. I thought, maybe it was time to make things official, if you want to. He was staring at the plate, too shy to look at Izuku while speaking. Izuku leaned on his hand, elbow on the table. They had been dancing around each other for months at this point. Izuku might still call Toshi his best friend, but they both knew it was more than that. But he knew it was more than that. They both did. They held each other through panic attacks, through Izuku's near-death experience. They kissed and hugged far more intimately than friends did. At this point, the hesitancy was on Izuku's end. He knew that. The hardest thing for Izuku was to accept love. It was harder to believe that someone loved him than it was to believe that UI had accepted him as a student. But it wasn't just that. Izuku feared that by loving him, Toshi would become a target and that of the hate and the vigil that followed Izuku. Virtual. The hate that followed Izuku. He feared that Toshi would be bullied, slandered, and mocked. He couldn't bear the thought of someone he loved being another color, becoming another color, another flower for them to cry over. Hitoshi sat down from across from him at the dining room table, setting their plates down and offering a hand for Izuku to take. Izuku took it and squeezed. Hitoshi ran his thumb across the metal bands glittering in the dim kitchen light. I understand, you know. I do understand, you know. Izuku blinked a few times, bringing himself out of his thoughts. I understand why you're afraid. You're scared you'll lose me. You're scared to lose me. Yes, Izuku played with his food, chopsticks in his right hand while holding Toshi's hand with his left. That's part of it, but the other part, Toshi, I don't want you being abused for loving a quirkless person. Izuku, I don't care what society has to say. I'm not worried about what they'll say, Toshi. I'm scared of what they'll do. Hitoshi sighed. Both of them went silent and ate. The meal was amazing. Izuku wished he hadn't ruined it by bringing society into the mix. Eventually, the quiet was too unbearable and awkward. Izuku set down his chopsticks and shook his head. I'm sorry, Toshi. I'm sorry, Hitoshi. I just don't want you to be a target. Izuku, stop. Just... The purple hair stood up and brushed his hands through his long hair. When they met 6 months ago, his hair was short enough to stand over his head in wild waves. Now, it tumbled down his shoulders into a lavender waterfall. If you think for a single second I don't have every intention of one day proudly wearing a green band on my wrist, you're an idiot. Izuku opened his mouth to argue, and yet nothing came out. Green band. A green band was given to someone when they married a quirkless person. They were viewed as a secondary wedding band and only given as a gift during the vows. In Izuku's lifetime, he had only met one mixed quirk status couple in recent years. It wasn't uncommon in the elderly community because quirk statuses weren't as important 60 years ago. Toshi, he didn't give a response. Sorry. I'm not asking you to marry me. We're ways off that. I just want you to know that I'm serious. I'm taking this seriously. I want both of us to get there someday. If that's what we both want. But you're scared. You're scared I can't take it. No. Izuku stood up and followed Hitoshi across the kitchen as he paced, taking his hands. No, I don't think you're weak. I don't think you can't take it. You need to understand that I haven't told you the worst of it. What you saw my mother do to me, that was tame. It was only a couple of beer bottles. Izuku took an unsteady breath. Hate crimes and murder and rape, and if anyone knew you were with a quirkless person outside of our little pocket of supporters, there would be worse things than being stabbed to death, Toshi. That's what I'm scared of. Hitoshi cupped his face, pressing their faces together from their forehead to their lips, but it wasn't yet a kiss. Somehow, this was more intimate than kissing. Their scars lined up, just beneath their eyes. Izuku nuzzled his face into Hitoshi's with a soft whine. Izuku, please, listen to me, please. Izuku nodded slightly. If I ran away just because loving you was too hard, it wouldn't be love. Izuku choked out something halfway between a sob and a laugh. Hitoshi finally pressed their lips together and kissed him. Hands still cupping his chin, Izuku ignored the hot tears burning down his face and wrapped his arms around Hitoshi. "I love you, my beautiful lily," Hitoshi whispered between their lips. "My handsome daisy," Izuku whispered back. "Thank you." Izuku peppered kisses across Hitoshi's face, much to his partner's giggling pleasure. "Thank you for just loving me." Hitoshi nudged his face and kissed the corner of his mouth. Izuku tucked his hands up around Hitoshi's arms until both their fingers became intertwined beside their faces, the metal bands clattering against each other. Their bodies swayed to some unheard music and on some unseen dance floor. Izuku felt his eyes dropping. It wasn't just the exhaustion. Hitoshi was pecking little kisses along Izuku's face, moving down to his chin where his kisses became nips, all teeth and tongue. Izuku's head fell backwards and a soundless moan drawing his mouth open. "Tell me when to stop," Hitoshi begged, his mouth still moving down. Izuku clutched their hands tighter, leaving Hitoshi's arms stretched upwards as his mouth kissed down Izuku's collarbone and tugged at his shirt. Izuku's brain short-circuited when Hitoshi got to his stomach. He sat back, gasping for air and shaking his head. "Stop." Hey, it's alright." Hitoshi dropped his hands and sat back, knowing Izuku would need a moment of space. "I'm sorry." "Nothing to be sorry about, Zu. I know." Hitoshi does know. He knows about all the dark secrets Izuku didn't tell people about what he endured. A lot of it was left out, but the things that Hitoshi needed to understand were important. Izuku made it clear that he still struggled with intimate touch outside of his hands and face. Hitoshi was accepting of Izuku's limits. That's why he asked him to be told when to stop, as it wasn't always easy to define his limitations. Izuku just got lost in a moment. He loved Hitoshi, but there was still things that he couldn't do without feeling it didn't work. It just didn't work. Izuku's brain would reel and his skin would crawl. Some parts of him was thrown back to the night of the sludge villain, where the sludge villain attacked him. The other part of hearing his father's words in his ears and his hands over his body. He took a few deep breaths. "I'm fine. I'm sorry." "It's okay if you aren't, Izuku." "I need a shower. Can we cuddle and get some rest? I'm exhausted." "Of course." Izuku stretched himself out on the gym mats while Hitoshi tossed their gym bags into the corner. Saturday was the first time this week Hitoshi got to train, and he already looked ready to collapse. May was going to join them later and the next day as well. Izuku was not excited to get blown up by her inventions, but he also liked the challenge. "Okay, before May gets here, can you show me that move you did in the entrance exam?" Shade asked. Izuku tilted his head back to Hitoshi, who shrugged. "Sure. Can you set the weight rack to max?" "Okay." Hitoshi ruffled Izuku's curls as he joined them in the center of the gym. This gym has a section devoted to hand-to-hand combat, mats for them and safety grapples, mats for them to safety grapple on, as well as several machines for weightlifting and cardio. Izuku had pointed to one of the weight machines, something for arms. He really should learn the names of gym equipment. Schroeder set it to the max weight, which was about double what Izuku could normally lift. "Think that's too much?" Hitoshi asked. Izuku shook his head. "Alright." Izuku rolled up to his feet and hopped over the weight bench and got into position. Schroeder stood by nearby and asked, "So your quirk works when someone answers your questions, right?" "Yeah." Hitoshi took the place of spotter just in case. "Izuku, I'm here." Izuku's mind blanked. His vision went going a bit blurry and foggy around the edges. Schroeder's words faded out around him, and his mind floating away on a soft river, happily quiet and peaceful. Then the direction from Hitoshi came. "Ignore your inhibitions. Lift the weights twice." Izuku followed the order without question. His body disregarded his usual limits, like it always did when Hitoshi ordered him. The cool metal of the machine, the machine arms were weighty on his hands, but it did not bother him. Once, twice, he lifted the max weight on the machine and set it back down. The second he did, the world snapped back into focus. Damn, okay, maybe I overestimated. He rubbed his sore arms. Hitoshi giggled. "I asked." Yeah. Interesting. Schroeder poked Izuku's arms, which made the team yelp. What happens if you keep going?" "What do you think? I injured myself. Last time he tried, I tore my ACL." "You're fine, Izuku. May's dad had a healing quirk. He was fine." "A torn ACL isn't fine, Hitoshi." Schroeder warned. "Don't overdo that skill. It's useful in certain situations, but don't hurt yourself just to win a fight. Got it?" "Yes, Schroeder." They both agreed. Saturday afternoon, Izuku was sitting on the mats in Gym Gamma with Hitoshi beside him. They were both trying hard not to laugh, while the teacher tried his best not to be brutalized by May's crazy inventions. Izuku was so glad to have his other best friend back, but damn did she scare him. "May," Schroeder shouted. "I said no explosions." "No," the girl flipped some of her pink dreadlocks out of her face. You said no explosions in your face. There's a difference." "Oh my god, Majima's gonna kill Nezu for accepting you." "I'm gonna be the best support inventor in the history of this country. Nezu will take pride in having me at this school." May had the biggest confidence-boosted ego Izuku had ever seen. She wholeheartedly believed that she would accomplish all of her dreams, and nothing would stand in her way. Honestly, with how often she was blowing up things, just about everything she put her hands on, as well as everything that stood in her way, Izuku believed her too. "How long until Schroeder gives up?" Hitoshi mumbled beside him. "I'd give him another 15 minutes. He's already going longer than both of us last were fighting her." "Yeah, but he's a pro hero," Izuku shrugged. So does that count as cheating?" "Nah." Izuku winced as Schroeder dodged another exploding firefly May unleashed. "I think he should just be glad that May isn't going to be a hero. Can you imagine?" Hitoshi chuckled. "Honestly, we might solve some of the villain problems in this country with her on the team." "You're not wrong." "Oi!" May stopped, her hoverboots coming to a forks, screeching halt in midair. Schroeder was currently swatting away the explosion fireflies all around him with his capture scarf. "Are you two slacking off?" No, we're taking notes, I swear." Izuku put one hand to his chest and another one held up like he was in a courtroom swearing on a Bible. "Try not to kill our teacher. We do need him, May." "He's fine." The room shook with several explosions going off. Hitoshi just about fell over, and Izuku grabbed the nearest support pole to keep himself upright, despite sitting down. "May!" Izuku shouted. "Oops, might have miscalculated the blast radius on a swarm." "Oh my god, she killed our teacher," Hitoshi sighed. But no, Schroeder wasn't dead. The older hero came out of the plume of smoke coughing. He was covered in soot, with his hair blown upwards while his quirk was active. He wasn't happy. The man put his hands on his knees and took a few hacking breaths. "Tell me how I managed to get stuck training the 3 most dangerous children in this damn country." Izuku and Hitoshi fell into a fit of giggles and laughter. May had her hand to her mouth, trying not to laugh as she landed back on the mats and walked over to check the damage she had left on the gym. We're not that dangerous, Shota, Hitoshi complained. Come on. Don't brush us off. May can turn a peanut into an explosive. You can brainwash the president of the Hero Commission, which isn't a terrible idea, might I add. And Izuku can literally take down the whole of Hero Society if he chooses not to, for some reason. Tell me I'm wrong. Well, Izuku scratches at his head. That may be true, but I haven't tabled the idea of using the top 5 heroes' weaknesses to bring them down to my level. But I haven't done that yet. Oh, great. Oh, we haven't tabled the idea yet? Great, that's fantastic. Shota wiped his hands down his face to clean the soot and deactivated his quirk. Tell Nezu that, and you'll never get out of detention. Am I clear? Yup. Shota looked like he didn't believe Izuku for a second. Hitoshi put his head on Izuku's shoulder. You're gonna tell him, aren't you? He whispered. Probably someday. Izuku kissed Toshi's forehead. May, Shota called, the fence kicking on a moment later, pulling the smoke out to reveal a girl picking up pieces of the blown up devices while mumbling to herself. May, is there any way you could possibly fight without using the explosives? Well, that's no fair. There's a kid with the explosion quirk posted on the rosters. Why should I be singled out? Izuku heard a record scratch in his brain. Explosion quirk. That couldn't be right. It couldn't be, right? It was the one. It couldn't be the one person Izuku wanted to see at least in his life. His body froze with the rush of a sickly. When the rush of sickly sweet burnt sugar struck his face like a brick wall. Izuku shook his head, trying to clear the memories that just swallowed him. Where did you get the rosters? He wasn't speaking loud enough to get May's attention. Those rosters weren't supposed to be posted for another week. Where did you find them? Shota was suspicious. May came running over and hid behind Hitoshi. I may or may not have checked the class rosters on the schedules on the UA servers. You what? Shota shouted. Izuku rubbed the heel of his hand in his right eye. He couldn't ground himself. He flinched when Hitoshi tried to take his hand. Izuku, is it him? Who? Kachan. Hitoshi just looked confused. Izuku felt like his head was too heavy for his neck to hold. He leaned on the pole and gulped air down his throat like he was a fish out of water. The world was swimming around him, in front of him. He tried so hard to clear it. He really needed Osamu. His mentor always knew how to make the swimming stop. Hey, what's going on? Shota's voice was softer this time. I don't know. May mentioned Quirk and he just started shutting down. I think if he asked if someone named Kachan was on the roster, I think. Izuku searched for that voice. Hitoshi. He trusted that voice. Those hands. Hey, it's okay. Hey, it's okay. I've got you. What's going on? Is it him, Sensei? Izuku's voice cracked. Is it Katsuki? Katsuki Bakugo? Shota asked. Izuku nodded. Yeah, he's on the roster for Class A. Do you know him? Again, he nodded. Shota knelt down beside him with a concerned look on his face. Slowly, Izuku's brain was getting defogged. He could see straight again, just a bit more than before. Shota took out his phone. Izuku watched him send a text. I asked Osamu to come pick you up. I think you need to talk with him. He can explain what's going on to me later, okay? Izuku just kept nodding, as if that's all he knew how to do anymore. Hitoshi held him until his mentor came to pick him up. Shota took May back to the support labs where she would be working on her pre-semester projects, likely all night. Izuku knew that dimly, but he didn't feel he could grasp a solid thought. When Osamu arrived, something finally broke the wall of disassociation, and Izuku just spilled the truth. He never referred to Katsuki by his real name before. not around his mentor. He talked about his middle school classmates. He'd talked about his middle school classmates, but he never used Katsuki, but he always used Katsuki's nickname because he didn't want to stir the damn pot like always. He suffered through it all just to endure the pain, just so it wouldn't get worse. Shota rubbed his eyes. Exhaustion was a constant state for him, but tonight was worse than usual. Tomorrow was the first day of the new semester. He'd get a whole new group of students and a whole new host of problems, first of which was Katsuki Bakugo. He was sitting on the office in his office on campus in the teacher's lounge. In front of him laid several layouts of how to change the class rosters. Both Nazu and Shota wanted to expel the explosive teen before he even walked through the doors, but Izuku had refused the idea. After his talk with Osamu, they had come to Shota with their concerns. The history behind why Izuku had his disassociation at the mention of Bakugo's quirk and a few ideas. Therapy. They didn't want Bakugo expelled. They wanted him to learn from his mistakes. Izuku didn't want to take away Bakugo's chance at becoming a real hero. Izuku's words, not Shota's. Ugh. Shota put his head in his hands. What a fucking mess. The safest bet was putting Bakugo in Class B, but they already sent out the rosters, assigned dorms, and uniforms. There was no easy way to swap one student for another between A and B, which meant Bakugo was likely stuck in Class A with Izuku. Shota did not want to put his traumatized kid in the same class, let alone the same dorm as his primary bully. Even with therapy, there was no way in hell the explosive teen reaction would be. There was no way to tell what the explosive teen's reaction would be to seeing his quirkless classmate in the same hero course. A knock drew his attention from his desk to the door, where Nezu was standing, looking just exhausted as he was. There's nothing you can do about it now, Shota. You should get some sleep. The kids will be here by 9 to move into the dorms. I won't let that boy hurt my kid. Nezu tapped the door with his claws. Sleep, Shota. Hey, wait. Shota stood up. Nezu turned back, waiting his questions. What was the gold band? What's your gold band mean? Izuku never mentioned gold before. Nezu smiled. I was wondering when you would ask that. But he didn't answer. The Chimera smirked and walked out without another word. Well, that was cryptic. Shota sighed and collapsed back onto his chair. Nezu was, unfortunately, right. There was nothing he could do right now. His plan would be to get there when all the kids moved in. This was going to end up being an introduction between a feral cat and a domesticated dog, and he wasn't sure which was which at this point. Shota collapsed onto the bed next to Hisashi in their new apartment in the 1A dorms, their teacher's apartment. He barely managed to get his shoes off at the door. Hisashi's hand was sinking into his head. A moment later, a groan echoing into his pillow as his face was stuffed in. Shota's husband laughed quietly. Everything's alright. Everything will be alright, Sho. I'll be beside you. Promise. He rolled over and wrapped his arms around Hisashi so he could stuff his face into those minty blonde locks. God, Shota loved the smell of that shampoo. Hisashi shifted enough to nuzzle his face into Shota's neck. Always. Shota tried to let his mind settle for the night so he could actually get some sleep. Insomnia was a cruel mistress, and Shota was having to fight with her this week, a very long fight. I'm worried, Zashi. The blonde cracked open an eye. About your students? Yeah. Shota sighed into his husband's long hair and rolled them to the side so they were facing each other. I'm scared that I'm about to hurt Izuku more than he already has. He doesn't deserve that. Shota. Hisashi woke up a little. You will be there to protect him. I know you learned the hard way. I know you learned the hard way that interfering can cause more trouble for the Quirkless people. So focus on mitigating the outcome, the fallout. If Bakugo can't be in the same class and civil, you will figure out a way to resolve it. I know it's hard to expel him for the past, but if he attacks a student, you have every right to punish him on his actions in the present. Shredder nodded a few times. Yeah, thank you, Hisashi. Get some sleep, love. Hisashi kissed his forehead. I'll try. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was chapter 5 of It's Not Love If You Run When It's Hard by Lita Cakes. I really enjoyed this chapter. I got a little uncomfortable at the sexual scene, just a slight sexual scene, as you know, but oh my god, as I was saying at the start of the video, these fucking bookmarks. I will post a whole fucking... I'm planning on covering my mirror in these bookmarks, because I have 80 bookmarks, plus the 5 proper tin ones. Like glass. These are proper glass. And it's just fucking amazing. Anyway, yeah, I'll post on my community wall in a bit about these bookmarks, but I love them to bits. Anyway, enough about that. I hope you enjoy yourself, and I'll see you guys next time. Make sure to take care. See ya. Bye.